you say that we all create our own reality, and do you think that is like that? And if it is like that, are you still searching for the truth?
Yeah, I've been searching for the truth my whole life, and especially these days, it's very important to. There's a lot of things about to happen, you know, and like especially now with the world economy going down, and there's some heavy stuff about to happen. And regarding the reality thing, I mean, the reality that we live is. Did you ever see the Matrix movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like the red pill, blue pill thing. And the way history has been explained to us through the school system and through media especially, the historic books and all that, it's not, there's not much truth in there, is what I found out. So I didn't eat a red physical pill, but I ate a red mental pill, put it that way. And when you start to look into how things are being played out and how things are connected, everything all of a sudden makes sense. And that happened to me like a few years ago, and it's not very pleasant. And that's more or less what the whole album is about. That figuring out all the connections and figuring out what the world is really like and what reality is really like. Because you can, of course, sit at home and pretend that everything is okay.
Yeah.
And think like, oh, the economy is going down, oh, but that's only in America. There's nothing to do with us, you know. If they go down, the reality is we also go down, you know. So we all create our own realities, and media and the governments, all the governments of the world, you know, they're all helping us to do that, you know, and they're forgetting what quality is about, what the real important things in life. They're really trying to squeeze that out of our lives. And that's not only on when it comes to music, it's with everything, with all kinds of entertainment, food even, you know. Yeah. So our lives are becoming cheaper and cheaper. We're all being, you know, streamlined, and we're all a bunch of, as I call, sheeple. You know, but that's what we become. So I'm trying to wake people up with this album, and so far some people are, you know, catching up on it, but it's frightening to me how few people are actually catching up on it. It's very frightening, and it proves that that I'm right, that we have all totally been dumbed down, and the reality that we are living it has nothing to do with the real reality. Back to the Matrix thing, you know, that we live in this like pretend to be world, and there's so much stuff going on behind the scenes that, you know, 90% of the people here are not even aware of.
I think I know what you mean, because I've been discovering quite a lot these last few months too. But you see it very much as a mass. Don't you think that there are more and more individuals who are discovering the real truth?
There are.
And isn't that something that's, I don't know, maybe, I think it's kind of like a consequence of what's been happening in the media, and that they've been dumbing us down with stupid TV shows, or even in the food, like you say. Yeah. But I think maybe it's a natural rebellion that I think people are starting to realize more. Don't you think so?
They are, but it goes in the way I think it works is the typical New World Order thing. They're creating a problem, and then they come up with the solution. So what you see is happening with, I don't know if you're familiar with the movie Zeitgeist.
No.
Okay, there's a movie called Zeitgeist, which is about all these like 9/11 truth and all these things. And this movie is like 90% good stuff, truth stuff, and then there's like a whole part of like religious stuff there that's like totally bullshit and just full of lies. And I think now that the ones in charge behind the scenes has dumbed us down, and now they are giving the solution for it so people wake up. But that solution is also a lie to get us further into this system. Because the plan is to have a world government, a world religion.
Yeah.
And you're part of the EU. That's like one of the first steps to connect Europe, you know.
Yeah.
And in America now, they're going to have the North American Union with like Mexico and Canada and the US also merging into one country. And they're doing the same in Africa and in Asia. So it's just going to be like each continent is kind of like a country each, you know.
Yeah.
And that's all going to merge, and then you have the one world government that these guys have been fighting for, you know, since the Roman Empire. Is what they've been fighting for. And I think that there's going to be a revival of like the Roman Empire coming back with the Vatican and all that, joining the whole world, and having like one political party ruling everything and controlling us like totally. Are you familiar with the 1984 movie, George Orwell, the book? No. Okay. The Big Brother is watching you.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I see you got the cover over there, give me 1 second. I'll show you this guy.
Yeah.
This is from a movie like from. There's a guy called author called George Orwell who wrote this book called 1984. I can't remember when it came out actually, but it's probably the 20s or something. Don't hold me to that. I can't remember the date for it. Yeah. I should have known it though. But 1984 is about what he predicts that 1984 would be like. Yeah. And of course, when we reached 1984, it was not that bad as he predicted. But now is really what he's describing in his book. Like so much, it has fallen into place. And so that's why what we have, you know, one of the concepts here is like 1984 is now. And that is, the future is not bright, put it that way.
I want to disagree with you.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think more and more people, because we do have one thing, which is the internet, and how stupid and naive it might sound, I think it allows individuals to come on there and to speak up and
Absolutely.
To question.
Absolutely. Internet is like the most important thing to spread, you know, information and spread the truth. The thing is that internet now is also being controlled, and the information that leaks out there, like the internet in China is you know, censored. Yeah. You can only get certain parts in there, and you have it now on like if I go on YouTube, I live in Norway. Yeah. If I go on YouTube, a lot of music videos from America, or it's like says it's out of your territory, so you can't watch it. So they're already doing some kind of censoring now. And if you think of it, how addicted we've become to just like cell phones, internet, laptops, and all that. The day they cut the wire, what are we going to do? We totally have. I was without internet connection for 3 days. Yeah. I didn't check my mail for 3 days. I was this close to having a nervous breakdown. And if all the information out there is being just an easy thing, all these things that we are so addicted to needs electricity. So whoever is in control of the power plants who generates electricity, if they just cut the wire, we're sitting there, no communication, no nothing. We are totally addicted to a system where we are addicted to things that other people control.
Yeah, but you say it yourself, it's an addiction. And I think every person has it in him or her to get cured from addiction. Don't you think so?
Yeah, but do we want to be cured from it?
I think we do. I think
Yeah.
if we get cured, we'll see the real thing, and we'll start thinking about basic things again, about just being human, and
Yeah.
about love, about thinking, just basic stuff like that. Because when you think about it, does a video on YouTube really make you happy? No, I think it's the small things, right, in your life.
Of the real things, of course,
Yeah.
the real things. But do you see much of that in the world today? Is there a lot of like real things going on?
Yeah.
Okay, not
And
in my world.
I think you just have to look more, and I think you have to. Don't be afraid to
I'm not
go
afraid.
up to someone and ask.
I'm from
it
Norway.
also.
I'm not afraid of anything. No. Well, if I know that the nice things and the good things are out there, absolutely. But do people care about it, really?
I think sometimes they need to be woken up because they have been brainwashed. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in younger kids, what is a thing that frightens me is the aggression that you see also on the internet, and that they use the word bitch or really insult people to be cool, and that's just a basic thing, but it's wrong. I think the respect is gone a little bit, and that's a thing that frightens me. But what I have seen is that when you start talking to them and you continue to talk to them, then they will have a moment where they go, oh yeah, why do I do that? Actually, you just have to make them think about why they do something, and then they will realize, okay, maybe it is a bit stupid to be a sheeple, like you say.
Yeah.
Well, and that's, I mean...
I understand what you're saying, but do you have any examples where people are actually changing?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I do.
That's great. That's great, because I don't see it. But I see totally regarding the aggression thing that it's been a programming that has been going on for years now, using stuff like violence in movies, computer games especially. How I know that we have, like 2-3 generations now of kids who have spending more time playing war games on their computers and on their Xbox and on their PlayStation than they have spent time with their grandparents or their parents even.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, So the kids are. How are you going to change that? How are you going to get rid of all the aggressive computer games?
Well, I think they'll get rid of themselves.
The what?
They'll get rid of themselves because they'll grow out of it, and when they get woken up, I think they just won't need them anymore.
Do you see that happening?
Yeah, I do. I do really see that happening, and even in young kids, because I mean, with this TV thing, I put it on YouTube, and people are allowed to comment. So a lot of time, because I interviewed our favorite artist, I get stuff like, oh my god, that bitch, and whatever. So normally I go and talk to that person. Maybe first with some sarcasm in there or whatever, but then afterwards you see that there's something in there. Usually it's hurt, that they've been hurt by something, and then they start seeing that you're human too, and that you're very close to how they are. And they start comparing themselves, and then sometimes they do change. And I think that's just it. Just show the people who you really are. You're also vulnerable, you're also just a person. And I think a lot of people will then realize, oh, it's okay for me to be just a person.
Yeah. I absolutely agree what you're saying. And if we had a way to communicate one-on-one, like we're doing right now, it will all work, because it's all about love.
Yeah.
And if you care about people, thing is that you can't go one-on-one with every person on the planet.
No, so this is the closest thing to it.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job spreading a positive vibe and a loving, showing that you're a human being, and like you just said, that usually it's hurt. That hurt is very close connected with fear.
Yeah.
And like insecurity, all these things.
Yeah.
If there was more love, you let me give it an example. Like the health system in Norway. I don't know what it's like in Belgium or in Germany, but the health system in Norway is just, if you go to the doctor having whatever problem, they put you on antidepressants the moment you step in the door, just to get you out quick for the next customer.
Yeah.
And they're all being, paid off by the medical companies to spread all this. We have a whole generation on antidepressants in Norway, and all the kids that are reacting, behaving strangely in class, they got the ADHD thing, and they get them straight on the amphetamines. Now Norway is the first country in the world who's going to use MDMA, like ecstasy, in mental treatment. And acid has been, like LSD has been used for years. They took that off in the 60s or something like that, but they've been experimenting with it for years. So what we have now in Norway is that a whole generation of speed freaks growing up, who has been legally turned into speed freaks by the government, and by their doctors and by their parents allowing it. Not because their parents are assholes, but because they don't have a clue what's going on. And you're gonna have a lot of these people who only can open themselves if they're on ecstasy in the treatment. The doctors do not care. I'm sure some do. I'm sure some do. But I've had it in my life, not me personally, but very, very, very close in my family. And I've seen how people have been treated by doctors who just don't care. Because there's no love. And if you can go, like we talked about one-on-one communication that we have now, if you can't even have that with your doctor, that you go in with your mental problems or emotional problems, if you've been hurt this or that way, and he doesn't even care. He's just like, oh yeah, I feel sorry for you. Here's some Prozac. That's how problems are being dealt with now. And I wish I could see this changing, but I don't. America is even worse. The pill industry, the medical industry, they're ruling America.
Well, I'm going to give you an example of how I see it changing, and it's very personal. I've been diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. Apparently, I've had that all my life, and last year it became really bad. Like, I was stuck to my bed for over 3 months. And what happened is I had to go to hospital to get everything really diagnosed. It took 7-8 months to get a diagnosis, and all they did was they also told me, maybe it would be good to go on antidepressants, because of course I was depressed. I mean, I said I couldn't get out of bed, so kind of logical, right? But then I met some different people who are more in touch with nature, who also look for more alternative ways of healing yourself, because I really honestly believe that for a lot of the diseases, we all control it ourselves, and we can heal ourselves also. I mean, look at me now, I'm not stuck to my bed anymore, and I'm able to do stuff again. And I think you just have to maybe be in it so deep that you get woken up, or maybe have a friend that tells you about it.
Well, you hit rock bottom, and then you have to work your way up. And then you experience it for yourself. I totally agree with you 100%. But they are keeping us from hitting rock bottom, because they're just keeping us so we don't live, we just exist.
But you're a public figure. With your music, you're inspiring people. With the way that you talk, you have a power to tell people this is not the only thing.
And that's what I'm doing.
So, I mean, believe in it then. I know that you can change everything. If we keep believing in it, it will happen. I'm thinking about the song where you talk about your shadow.
That's a reason why I didn't put those lyrics in the cover there, because it's not really it's a very personal thing that doesn't really fit the concept of the album. I mean, it's good that you have a positive that you are positive about the whole thing. I'm unfortunately not sharing that with you because I don't see any proof of it. And at the same time, also me being a Christian, I know what the Bible says about how the future is going to be, and that doesn't fit in very well with a bright future. So do I think it's going to be bright at the very end? Yes, it's going to be perfect at the very end like it was supposed to be, but there's going to be a long road there.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid that have not really even started the bad part yet.
Don't you think that you have it in your hands also?